Hello. Well, today we're doing a magret. It's an amazing piece of meat. It's the breast of a duck, and these are fattened quite a lot because they're actually from birds that are grown for foie gras. And the magret is ridiculously expensive, but because it's in this region, we get hold of them from time to time. And I'm going to do a sort of cheat sauce because I do cheat everything. And this is, normally this is cut in half and it's butterflied and you eat the fat. But I don't like the fat, neither does pork. But what you do need to remember is these don't taste as good if they're not cooked in duck fat. So what I'm going to do, we have one between us. It's quite a big one. I know we could be greedy and have, but we don't. They're expensive and we don't need to have any more than that. Now what you can do is to cut it down here again and butterfly it and open it up, and then you can cook them. And that is often how they're served in restaurants. But Paul and I do not particularly like to have the fat on ours. But I need to get the fat off to get the fat out of the skin. And this is just a matter of literally just scraping the meat away. And at some point it will just tear, but not that point. See? Now, I think a Frenchman would say this is sacrilege, but we really don't like that lump of fat. But we do like the fat to cook potatoes in. It roasts beautifully. It's a wonderful fat for cooking in, but we just don't like eating it. But I don't throw it away because we get the fat out of it, which I'm going to do in a minute. And then I'm going to score the outside of it and put it in that frying pan over there to heat it up so that it will slowly render the duck fat out of it. The skin at the end, of course, would just be a crispy skin, and I should give that to the dog and he thinks it's wonderful. But it really is, to us, worth taking it off because we don't really like it. But you will never see this missing in a restaurant. It's always served with its skin. So this is just something we do. And if you wanted to serve it with its skin, then you need to cook it slowly on the skin side, having scored it. And what I mean by scoring is literally slicing through it. Not all the way, just breaking the surface of the skin itself, and you would do that like this. But once you've got that, I'm going to lay it in the pan. I'm going to turn it on to a low light and just let it sit there. Now, if you wanted to serve it with its skin on, you would do this. And then this. You would cover it in salt and you would cook it that way down. And only at the very, very end would you turn it over and finish it off this way. That way you've got a crispy skin and your piece of meat is soft and tender all the way through. Now that is one of the ways to do it. They usually have this meat served very, very rare, and I won't be serving it overly cooked. They have it very simple with very little on it, often with pepper, but certainly, and often with just peppercorns that have been crushed. But really and truly, it's such a fine meat that apart from a decent quality salt and cooking it in duck fat, it doesn't need much else. But I'm going to be taking some marmalade that I had given to me by a friend who didn't make it from oranges. She's made it from, what are they called? Kumquats?
Kumquats.
Kumquats. Kumquats. Well, they're little tiny fruit and they're very, very zesty with a lot more flavour than you would think. And I particularly like, there he goes. I particularly like them. So that's in this jar here. And that's my cheat. When I was being taught cuisine at school, which was a joke, advanced cookery was making an orange sauce, which you had to make the brown sauce, and then you had to do all sorts of terrible things to oranges, and oh dear, this is a much quicker way and it seems to work much better. Now can you see it's starting to lose its fat? The important thing about these is you don't want to burn the fat. It's a very, very lovely fat. We don't burn it, we try to render it, and then we will pour off most of it and put it in the fridge and use it for other things, like potatoes. Potatoes cooked in duck fat are absolutely wonderful. Now, we will leave this to do while we'll come back, but in the meantime, I'm going to do something here. So I'm just doing my hands. I don't like messy hands when I'm doing something. Now, what I've got here are, I had the oven on yesterday, and as a result, I have this. What I did was to cut the tops off and just dab a bit of olive oil. That stops them burning, and by roasting them in their skins, they end up really, really sweet. They've been cooked alongside something else for about 25 to 30 minutes. And now, if you just pull them out, you have that. It really is quite delicious. They're very, very simple to peel because they're all soft. And this will be the sauce. They're not exactly caramelised, but they've concentrated the sweetness of them, and they really are delightful. You could chop them, but I'm not going to because we quite like our vegetables looking like vegetables. You could make a puree out of them, but I'm not going to do that either. I'm just going to heat them gently after I've peeled them. You can hear that noise now. You can see it's starting to, a bit like cooking bacon to get the fat out. You can see the fat's readily leaving. And that's really important because you need that fat out. Now, you can come back in a bit of time if you like, Paul. Because, oh, my hair. Yes, Paul did this yesterday because we can't get a hairdresser at all at the moment. And I used to be this colour for years and years, well, decades. But it became very chic to go grey in France, and they were paying to have their hair dyed a grey colour. And mine is a grey colour. So I got persuaded to go grey. Disaster. This is much more me. I like to be a flamey colour. So Paul did this with henna, which is a very simple product to do, but very time consuming because you have to leave it on there for 5 hours. So these were very simply made, and sometimes I even serve them hot at the table with salt, and they taste delicious. To hold them up, because I didn't have very many, I just put some onions, because these, I'll peel these, I'll chop them finely, and I'll throw them in with salad, and they are a really nice addition to salad. That one doesn't look good. Now, you can get these most of the year round. I'm sort of nearly finished. But the roasting of them in their skins produces something really nice. These, when they're hot, I would serve these as they are. Put them on the table in a bowl and let people put one on their plate and help themselves. They're very nice if you add butter to them, but you don't have to add anything if you don't want. Roasted vegetables in their skins are often really underrated. They're a little bit more work for people at the table, but they just taste better. Now, that's doing quite nicely. Now, there we are. And the last one. The other thing I did yesterday was I had some roasted pepper with garlic, which is here. And this has been in the fridge overnight. We ate what we wanted, and it slowly loses liquid overnight in the fridge, which is going to be absolutely lovely because this will be a very sweet sauce. So I'm just going to add that in there as well. Yes, I know I have prepared a lot of things in advance because this is an expensive cut of meat. I haven't finished preparing the meat yet. Now that's a little bit sugary and I don't want to put anything sugary on my meat. Now I'm going to butterfly my meat. After I turn this over, I think I'm going to turn it over. Getting too hot on that light. I'm going to move it to this one here. We've got a long way to go with that, but that's okay because we're busy. Now, it needs butterflying. So what I do, this is a sharp knife. I keep it sharp. I'm sure you could use whatever knife you like, and I'm sure people who don't cut themselves as regularly as I do would use a bigger knife. But there's nothing wrong with using a little knife, I always think. There we are. I want that little sinew cut on that one. Now, this now will open like that. This one the same. They cook nicer if they're like this. You get more sauce on the things as well. And that's not making enough noise now. Now there's a little sinew there that I'm going to cut. Now I think that now you've got two nice sized steaks and they'll just be delicious. I'm going to add a little bit of salt to them. I know I don't normally, but this is such a very nice meal. This is one of Paul's absolute favourites, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Now, some pepper. And I'll go get the salt. I'm going to put some salt in as well. It's a local dish around here. That's why they grow so much of the maize, they call it. It's a sort of sweet corn type thing, but it's actually much harder. And that is the main thing that feeds the duck, and that's why we have so much of that growing all year. But it's traditionally what they do here, and this is almost a byproduct. What a byproduct. Absolutely phenomenal. And if you want to know about the salt, I use it because it's got a nice little top. This is a very humid area and we are permanently fighting things, you know, moulds and fungals, and it's just very high humidity in the summer, particularly bad. Oh. Sorry, Paul. There. Yeah, that smells like heaven. You want to have a little look at that? My friend Teresa made the jam, but this fruit was grown by her husband, so it's just not possible to buy this. So I'm very pleased I have it. Right. Now, you're starting to see it go a brown colour. Now, it seems a bit of a shame, if you like this sort of thing, to give it to the dog, but I just want the fat out of it. Now, this is what would be served to you in the restaurants, and if you like it, you like it, but I don't. I don't really like very much fat. Olive oil, yes, but not fat. Now, I have to get something and I can't remember what. Oh, a teaspoon. I need a teaspoon to serve the jam with. Right. Now, I'm just going to heat this up. Okay. You can see it's got a little bit of liquid in the bottom. I'm using a separate spoon because I don't want to get anything sweet into the... I don't want to get it burnt, you see. But there's enough liquid in there to heat this up. And I just want a hint of that incredible flavour that's in that jar. So, we'll put that on like that. And you see? That's how you want it if you were leaving it on the meat. So you get the idea. Yes. But I don't particularly like it. Okay. We're not trying to cook these, they're cooked. What we're trying to do is just warm them. So we're not doing anything clever, that was all done before. Everything I do is simple. Now, I don't need as much heat on this side as I do on this side to cook my meat. So, yeah, they're coming on fine. Now, this okay. These I wanted to show you are roasted leeks. They are rather nice, and these are sweet and sharp. The reason they've got these little pinky bits is because that's the wine, and I will be making these again because I do these quite a bit because we like them so much. You can eat them cold as a starter, but these I'm actually going to heat them in the microwave to have with this meal. So it's really... all I've done with them is use olive oil and vinegar. I like a red wine vinegar with them, and these are left over from yesterday where we had them cold. So they are ideal for the summer. They're ideal for whenever you want them. But if you roast a vegetable, it goes more concentrated, sweeter, ideal. Right, now I'm just going to lay these in the pan. And that's that done. I need to this is going to go in the microwave to warm. I need to turn that vegetable over. I need to stand where you are, darling. This is a very small kitchen. Right, you can see now we've got a lot of heat coming out of this, so it's warm. And now I'm going to add this. Just this. Nothing exciting, nothing overly clever. Just a sort of tablespoon and a half. That's it done. That's enough of an orange flavour. And these are incredibly sweet because they've been roasted. They were all roasted for about half an hour yesterday. Now this, you don't want to overcook them. There's an uncooked piece there that I like to. Right. There you are. That's for the doggy for later. This is finished with. And a big thank you to Teresa and Mike, because that is just so lovely. It is so fresh and zesty. Such a beautiful flavour. There you are. Let's put these away. That's that finished. And they're almost ready to come out. Now, all likes to stick slightly longer than I like mine, so I'm just going to go and get mine. That's roughly ready. This now is very hot, so I shall put some of this on the plates. And look how pretty the colours are. I mean, the colours are pretty, aren't they? And everybody likes peppers. The garlic was also roasted, and that just makes things so much nicer. If you are roasting something in the oven, don't just roast one thing. Put a lot of other things in at the same time. Make the most of it. Right. That one's mine. Which one would you like in the way of vegetables? I don't care. Well, that's mine. And yours is having a few minutes longer. Now, if you don't cook it in duck fat, the chances are it will have a flavour a bit reminiscent of liver. I don't know why, but the duck fat makes it so much nicer. So much nicer. But you have to do it that way. So now you've seen it really wasn't that difficult to do. We're going to have some more vegetables here to go with it. I think you have to say that I particularly like vegetables, because I do. as cooked as Paul would like it. There you are. That's how I do this lovely meal. You have to like this, it's gorgeous. So this one's yours and mine. I'm turning the light out and we can enjoy this together. See you later.